What's going on, everybody? This is Jansen Roberts here with loopcommunity.com. Just tuning in for our next session here, and hopefully you guys are doing well. We're getting ready to start here in just a few minutes. We got about a minute or two left. So as you're coming in to watch this, why don't you go ahead and maybe type in where you're from and what it is that you do, and we will get started here in just a second. This is our fourth webinar in a series of webinars that we're doing on how to create tracks using this piece of software called Ableton Live. So as you're tuning in, just go ahead and people start coming in. You see more viewers come. Just type in maybe where you're from and also what you do, and we will get started here in just a second. And one thing to note, if you have these the ticket for these webinars and you for some reason did not get your link to watch the previous weeks, you can send us an email here to support@loopcommunity.com. That's support@loopcommunity.com, and we'll be sure to be able to check the list here and get you the link that you need so that you can go back and watch session 1, 2, or 3 if need be to kind of get caught up. And so it looks like we got a couple people coming in. We'll have more join us soon, and we're going to go ahead and jump in and get started. So the past 3 weeks, we've looked at one specific song, which is Cornerstone by Hillsong. And what we've done with that song is we've kind of shown you how to enter in using cue tracks and click tracks or a metronome, and then also kind of stacking those instruments. So the first week we looked at how to record the acoustic guitar, how to maybe mic it and what things you needed to record it. The second week we covered bass. Works pretty similarly to the acoustic guitar, and then this third week, last week, we looked at the electric guitar. So that kind of gets our guitars out of the way, and then the other two pieces of the band that are pretty essential are the keys, pads, and synths. That's kind of all enveloped into what we call keys. And then the next week, the final week, we're going to look at drums. And so with those 5 instruments in your band, when learning how to track those in Ableton, you should be able to have a good basis for creating your own songs and having the content there for your churches. And so you can upload that to sell with loopcommunity.com. You can also use it to upload for free in Prime, which is our free app for the iPad and iPhone, and you can play back your own tracks that you created in that software and control them and change the key and the BPM and a lot of cool things you can do inside that piece of software. So today we're just going to continue on with session 4, looking at the keys. And so if you'll notice here, I have Ableton Live running. And before we get started, we've done this every week, and I'm going to do it again just in case people need a refresher or something to kind of see what's going on. So in order to build our track, the first thing we need to do is have a basis of where the sections are in the song, right? So to quickly kind of do that, what I'm going to do is show you how to enter in the clicking cues. Now, we have a free what we call a band cue pack at loopcommunity.com, so you can go to loopcommunity.com/store, and the first thing that comes up right there is the band cues. It'll say LC band cues, I think, and you can just click on the little price tag. It says free, and then checkout, and you'll be able to download those files right to your computer and drag and drop them right into Ableton Live and use them. And so I'm going to go ahead and drag in a couple of the ones that I already have that we've created for Cornerstone. And I'll kind of show you what I'm doing. So I'm going to drag these right here and drop them in. These are the pre-created ones that I already had. These are not what you'll actually get when you download. I'll show you how to do that. So if you're needing to like create your own click and cues, if you open up this browser window here in Ableton, you can download those, and then the file that you'll get in the Finder window, you can actually, which is here, it'll pop up, and you can drag that right into the browser window here. And when you do, it'll look something like this. It'll give you a cue pack, and you'll be able to then use this to create a new MIDI track. So if I wanted to, I can right click here and insert. Actually, I'm going to just Shift Command T, and it's going to open up. If you want to do that, you can also go to File, and then Create, and then insert a new MIDI track here. But Ableton always gives you these shortcut commands, which is really nice. So Shift Command T, or if you're on a PC, Shift Control T, and it'll enter in this new MIDI track. And then you can drag this cue pack that you downloaded right into that MIDI track. So I'm going to click, drag it, and drop it right there. And it's going to give me a drum rack down here that has these preloaded instrument files on there. So if I click on these,
instrumental,
you'll be able to hear them.
Outro. Verse 2.
You know, call out exactly what they are.
Tag.
So this is kind of like having, you're building a cues track, because on stage when you're leading worship and going through a song, you're going to have this cue pack, this track rather, be kind of like a band director, so that nobody's going to hear it except for you and your in-ear monitors. And it's going to, when you get to the chorus, it'll say chorus 2, 3, 4. Or if you're in 6/8, it'll do the 6/8 timing as well, and you can kind of create that on your own. Now, we also have these in Spanish, so that's a great tool if you have a Spanish ministry at your church, or you know, you're serving in some kind of arena that speaks Spanish, and you have some guys in your band that can speak that. That's also what we provided for you. So you can rename this track here. Just right-click and hit rename. You can rename this to like cues. And one of the first things when you drag this cue pack into the MIDI track, the first thing you want to do to save it is you want to click the Save button right here. When you click the Save button, it's going to give you a wherever it is in your places. Usually it's the user library. It's going to drop this in right here, and you can rename this like you know, you can call it whatever. I can call it cues, or you know, cue pack, or you know, whatever I want to do. So I can just enter that in and you know, have it ready. So I'm just going to say LC cues. And it's going to create that, and now every time I open Ableton, I'll have this preset that's already loaded, and I'm not going to have to drag it and drop it back in. It's already going to be right here in the browser window, and then when I want to create a new track, I can just drag this in, and I don't even have to create a new MIDI track. It'll just drop one in for me, which is right here. And when I double click on it, it always has the cues right here, the same thing.
Outro. Chorus.
So we're not going to use two of them. Well, we are, but we're going to use one here. So I'm just going to delete this one. And I don't need this cue back, so I can just delete that and get rid of it. Cool. So one of the things I have here when I drop this in is these are the originals that I created to go along with this song. And so the first thing you want to do is kind of maybe color code these so that you know they're originals. I like to use this green color when I'm tracking, you know, to know that these are the ones that I haven't recorded. These are ones that I'm actually like the source audio that I'm trying to copy, that I'm trying to like create my own audio to go along to this. And then obviously you want to rename these to what they are. So this is the click and this is the cues. Sometimes what I do is I also put the word T in front of it, so like T click or T cues, and that lets me know that this is the track click and this is the track cues, to let me know that I did not record these. This is my one that I'm going to record, so I'm going to put that like in a red or an orange, and I know that this means that these are the ones that I'm actually creating. So when I'm going to export all this at the end of my session, or the end of tracking everything, I'm going to know that I can delete these because I didn't create them, and then just keep the orange ones or the red ones and use those for you know, the songs that I want to upload and use either with the Loop community to sell them, or just keep them in Ableton to use them, or upload to Prime, or you know, whatever I'm going to do with these. And so that'll keep everything nice, clean, and separated to where you're not having to like worry about, oh man, which one was mine? Do I need to go back and listen to them again? Also, when you're tracking these, to drag and drop these, I don't think I've shown you this before, but when you're recording some of these things, you might want to set up a set button for your markers. So Ableton has this really nice feature. Most of the DAWs have something similar. If you go up to this key button here, and then you're going to map a key on your computer's keyboard.